All right, Shalom. Call Halayim Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the Tabernacle of David. I'm your brother Matazabath Ban Yahweh from the branch of the Great Millstone in Melbourne, Australia. And I wanted to do a quick lesson, all right, dealing with the topic of, as you can see, this gentleman here in this video entitled Breaking News, How Khazarian Jays changed their fake J names to lie, deceive, and steal. All right. And, the spirit hopped on me because we are in the time of Esau being made bare, as the scripture says. All right. And what you're going to hear in this video, which goes for about 4 minutes and 56 seconds, this individual brings out some pretty damnable information, all right, that exposes Esau Edom. All right. But nevertheless, there are a couple of things that he brings out, which we have to, we have to go into some history and give the correct understanding, because there are certain talking points within this video where he, goes off. And this is the reason why we understand Esau is trying very hard to push a different narrative. All right. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to play the video. All right. In fair use. All right. This is fair use. All right. And we are viewing this video off the page or website known as Odyssey. All right. And what I'll do, because I actually have an account on this website, all right, which we load up videos to Odyssey where we cannot load them on YouTube. All right. So this is fair use. All right. And let's check this out.
When I show you what I'm about to show you, your mind will be blown. You're going to be blindsided. Every single Israeli prime minister has a fake name. Did you know that? I was just talking about Ben Gurion. Do you know what his original name is? It's Gruen, G-R-U-E-N. He changed it to make it sound more Jewish and sound more Middle Eastern. Do you know what Netanyahu's real name is? It's not Netanyahu, it's Milkovsky. I swear to God, go and look it up. You'll find Milkovsky. That's his real name. These are, remember what Israelis are. Israelis are European Jews. They don't come from Palestine, but they want you to make you believe. They want to make believe and make you believe that they come from this area, that they are indigenous to the land, that they're so Jewish, right? Even though they have no connection. So they changed the names. Here's another one. Moshe Sharat. His name is Chertok originally. You've got Levi Eshkol. Eshkol was Shklonik. So he changed it from Shklonik to Eshkol. Then you have Yigal Alon, his original name, Peikovitz. Golda Meir, Israel's first female prime minister. Her real name is not Golda Meir, it's Mabovich. Mabovich. More like mad bitch. We have Yitzhak Rabin, right? His name is not Rabin, it's Rubitsov. Are you seeing the pattern? These are Eastern European names. Not Palestinian, not Jewish, not Middle Eastern. They're Eastern European. Okay? They're not Palestinian. They don't come from this region. Yitzhak Shamir. He's a great one. Yitzhak Shamir, he's on the wanted poster because he was wanted by the British police in Palestine for terrorism. But they don't tell you that. So Yitzhak Shamir, his original name is Yezernitsky. Yezernitsky. Shimon Peres, Persky. Netanyahu, I already told you, Malikovsky. I think I said Milkovsky, excuse me, it's Malikovsky. Never, it's the same point. Ehud Barak is Brog. So B-R-O-G, Brog. He changed it to Barak. Ariel Sharon. His original name is Shinerman. Shinerman. He changed it to Sharon. And Yair Lapid, who's, you still see him changing posts, his original name is Lampel. So he changed it from Lampel to Lapid. Ain't it lovely? Ain't it lovely? It's like, I know half of you didn't know this. I guarantee half of you at least didn't know this stuff. I guarantee you. Because no matter how much you know about the Zionists, you will always discover new things about them, about how they obfuscate, how they lie, how they cheat their way into taking the land, right? By hook or by crook. They're going to do anything they can.
And he's absolutely right, because the scriptures speak about that, right? Let's grab this over here. This is Psalms chapter 49 and verse 11. Speaking of Esau, Edom, it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And so essentially, when Esau, Edom, all right, came into power, all right, back into power, that is, during the time of the Renaissance era, all right, everywhere that they conquered, all right, let's get Micah chapter 2, all right, the scriptures tells you, all right, woe to the oppressors, all right, Micah 2 and 1, woe to them that advise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And when the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, all right, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, okay? And what nation of people is doing that today? Okay, the wicked that the Bible speaks of, which are Esau, Edom, or is Esau, Edom, all right? And that's why the scripture says, let's also get Psalms 58. All right, verses 3 and 4 says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Just like what he said in his video. All right, they lie, they manipulate, they steal. Okay. And prior to them stealing people's lands, all right, the scripture says, verse 4, their poison is like the poison of a serpent, and they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth their ear. All right, because the scriptures speak about removing landmarks. Right, let's see if we can grab that real quick. Right, Job 24 and 2, some remove the landmarks, they violently take away flocks and feed thereof. All right, and that's what Esau, Edom has done. All right, but let me see, let me get that out the way. There's one in Deuteronomy, there's another one. Let me see, Salakia. Right, Deuteronomy 19 and 14, thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit the land that the Lord Yahweh thy power giveth thee to possess it. All right, and what did the Lord say? Deuteronomy 27 and 17, cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say amen. Okay, because that's what Esau, Edom did. He removed our landmark. That's why those people that are in the land, all right, when the scripture says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? Let's see if we can grab that real quick. All right. Actually, I think that's Zechariah 9 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Zechariah 9 and 6, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And who's that bastard that's dwelling in Ashdod? It's the Edomites, because when you get the prophecy in Ezekiel, all right, let's get Ezekiel 36 and 5. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. All right, the word Idumea is the Greek for Edom, which have appointed my land. What's the Lord's land? All right, the land of Israel, into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. You see? And when you go down, I believe it's let me see here. It might be right when you start up. I mean, Salakia, Ezekiel 36 and 2, thus said the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy, all right, Esau, Edom, have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. So what the Edomites and the other heathen nations, what they've done is they've taken over the Lord's inheritance, his land, all right, which he have deemed to be the people of his chosen, which are the nation of Israel, beginning with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You see? All right, so let's come back over here.
And they think that this is a way to, pull the wool over our eyes and make us think that, they belong to the region or something. Like we can't look at their faces and see, well, You look particularly different to the people that are indigenous to the land. Do you not? I mean, again, you can have all sorts of people in the Levant. You know, you can have gingers and a pale white. It's not about that, but we know that every single Israeli government has always been headed by, and the cabinet has been filled by people who are Ashkenazi. They're not Semites. They don't come from the region. They're Eastern Europeans. They're Jews from Europe. They just don't come from this region.
Now we need to address that, because that's another narrative that has been thrown out about the people that's over there in the land claiming to be the JEWs, right? Or Khazarians. They're not Semites. First and foremost, the word is not Sem. The word is Shem. All right. It is Shem. All right. Which the word Shem means name. Okay. And for those of you who are unlearned, the Edomites, who are claiming to be the people of the land, the Ish people, they are indeed Shemites. Okay. They are indeed Shemites, because when you, let's come back over here. All right. Let's type in Shem, who was one of the sons of Noah. All right. Genesis 5:32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay. Now, when you deal with Shem, all right, when you get the generations, all right, when you trace the lineage, okay, let's see here, Shem. Genesis 10:21, unto Shem, also the father of the children of Eber, all right, which the word Eber in the Hebrew is Ibar, all right, this is where you get the word Hebrew from, all right, Hebrew goes back to the word Eber or Ibar, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him children were born. And now here it is, the children of Shem, all right, you had Elam, which today will be your East Indians and stuff like that, and Ashur, Assyrians, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram, which is Syrian. All right. Not to get confused with Ashur, which is Assyrians. Okay. Now, when you follow the line of Shem, you had Arphaxad. Okay. Which verse 24, Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. All right. This is where you get Hebrew from. And Eber bore two sons, one being Peleg, which means, I believe, to divide. For his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. All right. Now, when you follow, let me see here. When you follow the lineage, all right, descendants of Shem, you had Arphaxad, which this is following literally the sons of God, because in Genesis, the 9th chapter, it tells you that the Lord, Yahweh, was the God of Shem. All right. And matter of fact, just to prove that, all right, let me just get that real quick. All right, because we might have newcomers that come onto the channel to learn the truth. All right, Genesis chapter 9 and right around verse 26. And he said, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, power of Shem. All right, and Canaan shall be his servant. All right, so Shem, because after the flood, all right, you still had the sons of God being tracked, started with Noah. All right, but as it says here, all right, Noah, out of Noah's 3 sons, Yahweh was the God of Shem and no other person. Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there. So now coming back over here, we are following the lineage of the sons of God. All right. Started with Noah to Shem. All right. Shem to Arphaxad. All right. And when you go through, you have Eber, Peleg. All right. Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah. All right. Terah begot Abram. All right. Whose name later was changed to Abraham. Okay. We are tracking the lineage of the sons of God. All right. And then Abraham had Isaac. All right. And Isaac had who? Let's go to Genesis, the 25th chapter. All right. Who did Isaac have? Salakia. Genesis 25. All right. Because Isaac was the son of Abraham, which Isaac's brother was Ishmael. Right. But the Lord chose Isaac. Right. So it says Genesis 25, Isaac's sons, all right, which we know, let's get right here, Genesis 25:23, and Yahweh said unto her, Rebekah, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. All right. So she had fraternal twins. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. So as you can see here, Esau, when you trace the lineage, because the scriptures tells you, let's come back over here. All right. That the pedigree is determined by the house of the father. All right. Numbers 1:18. All right. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So if we are tracking lineages through the seed line of the father, okay, and we tracked Shem to Arphaxad, all right, all the way down to Eber, Peleg, all right, from Peleg, Salakia, to Terah, from Terah to Abraham, which Abraham was the son of Terah, Abraham's son Isaac, which was the chosen son between himself and Ishmael, and Isaac having two sons of his own, being Esau and Jacob, which Jacob was the chosen. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. All right. And so this proves that Esau comes from the lineage all the way to Shem. So the Edomites are Shemites. Okay. The Edomites, once again, are Shemites. So to sit up there and say that, and see, you got to be careful, because this is the narrative that they like to spew. All right. The difference is, although Esau, Edom are Shemites, they are not Hebrew Israelites. They are Hebrew Edomites. Okay. And yes, they are Shemites. They're just not the original people in terms of they're not the biblical Israelites. They are the biblical Edomites. All right. So we just wanted to make that point. Let's get back to the video.
I don't know when they converted or whatever, but the point is that they don't come from the region. And even if they did, like let's say you're a Zionist. Let's say you actually believe, yes, this is the land of the Jews. These people are not Jewish. They are not Jewish in the sense that you think they are. They have adopted a religion from the Middle East. That doesn't mean they are the original Hebrews or people that lived there 3,000 years ago. Ironically, if you're looking for the people that lived there 3,000 years ago, guess what? They're still there. They're called Palestinians. Maybe today some of them are Christian. Maybe some of them are Muslim. But they are the original people of this land.
All right. And that's another lie. Okay. Now, disclaimer. Yes, you will have remnants of the true biblical Israelites. All right, that will be dwelling in that land, which, although, as the prophecy states, we supposed to be scattered across the four corners of the earth. We're not supposed to be in that land, but you will have Israelites whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, out of the 12 tribes. All right, that will be in that land. Now, here I have, all right, to show you that both of those nations do not belong in the land, because as we read earlier in Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, all right, the residue of the heathen and the Idumeans, okay, which is the Edomites, they now have possession over the Holy Land. All right. Now let's check out this video.
Absolutely no historic record of an Arab people who called themselves the Palestinians, let alone a Palestinian Arab entity whose capital city was Jerusalem. Palestine then was not a nation or even a state. It was an area of the Ottoman Empire ruled from Constantinople, also known as the province of southern Syria. Yes, it is true that the majority of Western Palestine's sparse population was ethnically Arab, many of whose ancestors originally came here with the Islamic occupation that began in the 7th century AD. But the historic fact is that the territory known as Palestine has never, since the name Palestine was first applied by the Romans, been an Arab nation or designated to be an Arab nation. In other words, historically, an Arab nation known as Palestine never existed.
And did you hear what he said? Okay. Let me take that back a little bit. And this is a video I did a few months ago. All right. Let's play that all the way back so that you can get what he's saying. All right. Because both nations don't belong in that land, man. Okay. Because the true biblical Israelites, all right, we are under the curses. We have been scattered. Okay. And the only way we're going to come back to that land is through the deliverance of Yahushua HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And prior to him coming back the second time in his full glory, he's going to gather up his elect from the four corners of the earth, and he's going to bring us back into the land of our forefathers. Let's hit that play one more time.
Absolutely no historic record of an Arab people who called themselves the Palestinians, let alone a Palestinian Arab entity whose capital city was Jerusalem. Palestine then was not a nation or even a state. It was an area of the Ottoman Empire ruled from Constantinople, also known as the province of southern Syria. Yes, it is true that the majority of Western Palestine's sparse population was ethnically Arab, many of whose ancestors originally came here with the Islamic occupation that began in the 7th century AD. But the historic fact is that the territory known as Palestine has never, since the name Palestine was first applied by the Romans, been an Arab nation or designated to be an Arab nation. In other words, historically, an Arab nation known as Palestine never existed.
Okay, so that last part was a video snippet of the gentleman stating that the Palestinian state, or what it was known to be called by the Romans, Palestine, all right, historically, of factual information, there was no Arab nation known as Palestine ever. All right. So you have this conflict that, well, we are the real people. We've been here. We are the indigenous to the land, or whatever the case may be. All right. But the scripture says, all right, even going as far back as during the time of the fall of Jerusalem between 66 to 70 AD, when Yahushua himself spoke about the things that would that come, all right, pertaining to Israel's downfall. And this is Luke 21, and I'm gonna start at 20. Says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. And then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there should be great distress in the land, speaking of the land of Israel, and wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations. And that happened. You had something that was called the black so-called Jewish market, which, if you read a book that goes by the name of From Babylon to Timbuktu, it speaks about that there were, during the time of Titus and Vespasian, all right, due to the atrocities and the outages that led up to between 66 to 70 AD, that they had over 1 million Jews, all right, that were so-called dark. So it says, in Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, which we are currently in those times right now, where the times of the Gentiles are just about being fulfilled, meaning, in other words, all right, their time is up for being in that land, because there are heathen nations that are living in our land. Ultimately, the Edomites, all right, you have some Ishmaelites there, but you also have Israelites that are in that land as well. Okay, speckled bird Israelites. So this prophecy, all right, has been fulfilled. All right, and it's still in the process where we're approaching the times until the Gentiles be fulfilled. All right, so they pretty much cut themselves here. Let's come back to this video.
And you're killing them and butchering them. So what does that make you? Right? Not to mention the fact, this is why we call Arabs and Palestinians Semites, because they're Semites. They come from this region. So, these people are not Semites.
And that's a lie, because the Edomites, there are Shemitic people, as we already proved by tracing the lineage. Remember, the seed line goes back to the father. Just like Jacob, we know Jacob is a Shemite, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, so it makes absolutely no sense on how the narrative can be, flipped on us to call us anti-S word, when how the hell can we be anti-S when we come from the same stock? Those people over there, whether, the Ishmaelites, they're also of a Shemitic. They're, Ishmael is the brother of Isaac, right? Esau is the son of Isaac. So how the hell could they not be Shemitic? So that lie, you know, that's that's why we have to understand history, and we have to bring out the real information, and that's why we do these lessons.
The Israelis are not Semites, and they are butchering actual Semites and then calling the real Semites anti-Semitic. I mean, what is that? They're such frauds. They even change the names to make themselves appear more Semitic. That's how fraudulent they are. That's how criminal they are.
Right. So now, let's see here. All right. So now let's come over here really quickly and let's get some information pertaining to the those people that are claiming to be JEWs over there in the land. So now this is a website, kabad.org, library article dealing with Hasdai in the Khazar kingdom. So let me just get straight to the point. It says a very interesting historical document was left by Hasdai in the form of his correspondence with the Ish king of the Khazars. For hundreds of years, the Khazars were a mighty people who lived on the steppes between the Don and the Volga rivers. Their realm stretched westward as far as Kiev. The kings of the Khazars were powerful rulers who intermarried with the families of the Byzantine and Arab monarchies. And it is not clear when the Khazars decided to give up their heathen ways and accept Judaism as their faith. The Khazar Jayish kingdom captured the imagination of the Jayish people of those days. Hasdai was eager to learn more about them, for he had only scant reports of the Khazar kingdom, which he received through diplomatic channels. Hasdai decided to make personal contact with them, and in those days, distance made it very difficult to make or maintain contact with remote countries. And since the Khazar kingdom was at the easternmost end of Europe, it seemed almost an impossible task. Now, here's what they don't tell you, but we have to take the meat from the bone, because they're going to tell you one thing within this article, but I got another different article that's actually going to shut this down, and I'm going to show you where they go off and lie and manipulate history. It says King Joseph of the Khazars replied in Hebrew, answering all of Hasdai's questions concerning the history of the Khazars and their acceptance of Judaism. And King Joseph told him how his ancestor Bulan, who was known as King Bulan back then, decided to give up his heathen beliefs in order to accept one of the three leading faiths, Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. King Bulan then arranged for theologians of each of the three faiths to participate in a debate in his presence, in which each of them was to prove why his faith was the true one. When the debate was over, Bulan was convinced that the Ish faith was the true faith, and he, together with his entire family and 4,000 Khazar nobles, formally accepted Judaism, and gradually the majority of the Khazars followed the example of their king and accepted the Ish faith. Now, this is what they tell the masses of the people, and this is a goddamn lie. He didn't just come and said, oh, we're going to have a meeting, and I want you guys to tell me why we should accept your religion. The truth of the matter was, during the time King Bulan, he was confounded by two different religions, being that of Christianity and Islam, on both sides of the spectrum. And what they don't tell you is, let's see here, let me find it real quick. Let's come over here. All right, this is an article from freepages.rootsweb.com. Now, this is secular history. There were constant wars going on between the Arab world and the Khazars. Now it says here, let me get straight to the point. Arab armies, led first by the Arab prince Maslama, and Muhammad, later poured across the Caucasus, and eventually in 737 defeated a Khazar army led by Hezar Turkhan, briefly occupying Antil itself and possibly forcing the Khangan to convert to Islam. That was the main issue. King Bulan, he had a problem because the Khazars, the Ottoman Turk Empire that came in, which were Edomites, basically they were worshiping Islamic in faith. And so what happened was they were going to battle with the Khazarian Empire, and they were trying to occupy the land, not only occupying the land, but they were trying to force converse the Khangans, which are Khazars, to Islam. This is the history that they leave out on purpose. And then you'll have reports that'll tell you that it is unclear as to why the conversion of Judaism came about. No, it is very fucking clear on how it came about when you study the actual true factual information. It's very clear what was going on. He had a choice to choose between the religions, because if he didn't go to Islam, they were going to kill him. If he didn't go to Christianity, that was led during the time of the Romans, where you have the Crusades and everything, the claiming to be the Christianity sect, they were going to kill him. So he had no other choice but to convert to what they call Judaism, to save his village of people. Now, this really goes all the way back to John Hyrcanus, which forced circumcised the Edomites, which you can pull that history up, and Lord's will, if the Spirit permits me, I'll do a further breakdown on that. But the point of the matter is, they have been going back and forth in constant wars, all right, with the Arabs. So it wasn't just a fact of, he just sat down and told those three religions, let me hear why you think that we should convert. No, it was more than that. And so when you come down here where it says the conversion of the royalty and aristocracy to Judaism, you had a man by the name of Leo III, who was responsible for furthering the religion of Judaism within the Khazarian Empire. They didn't want the wars. That was the main purpose of them actually converting. They had to choose. All right. But here's the letter of King Joseph's reply to Hasdai, because Hasdai wanted to find out more about him. Now, this is where this narrative is pushed that they are not Shemitic, but they are Japhetic nation of people, which the true Japhetic people, okay, were not so-called white. They indeed today will be your people of Polynesian descent, which back in the ancient time of Anatolia, the Messenian Sea, the Greek islands, all right, those tribes were known as the Minoans, the Ionians, the Etruscans, all right, which today will make up your Samoans, your Tongans, your Fijians, all right, your Hawaiians, the list goes on. Now, this is where they get this information from. This is the response letter from King Joseph, all right, who was the next king to rule of the Khazarian Empire. It says, I wish to inform you that your beautifully phrased letter was given us by Isaac, son of Eliezer, a Jew of the land of Germany, right? You made us happy, and we are delighted with your understanding and wisdom. And let us therefore renew the diplomatic relations that once obtained between our fathers, and let us transmit this and this heritage to our children. You ask us also in your epistle, of what people, of what family, and of what tribe are you? Know that we are descended from Japhet through his son Togarmah, and that's a goddamn lie. They're not descended from Japhet. The reason why they say that is because where they were situated, just like after the well, I can't even say it because YouTube will cut the video if I post this up, but Togarmah is the ancient name today of Turkey. During the time of the that H word, with all of those Jews that, suffer whatever, it is that they want you to believe, I'll just say it in that aspect. Basically, coming from Poland, those areas, German and stuff like that, that's why they call themselves Ashkenaz. Now, or Ashkenazi. Now, Ashkenaz is one of the sons of Japhet. And when you do your due diligent research, you will find that Ashkenaz, all right, they were the cousins of the Minoans and Ionians, which they were of a dark-skinned race of people. And I've already covered this topic in a video dealing with the sons of Japhet, which were Samoans. So this is where King Joseph goes off by lying, saying that they are of the descendant of Japhet. And we're going to show you through a book PDF file that I have here known as Who is Esau Edom? Okay, Arthur Koestler, who wrote a book called The 13th Tribe, he's going to tell you, all right, who these people really are, man. But he goes on to say, know that we are descended from Japhet through his son Togarmah, which it says in the Ish literature, Togarmah is the father of all the Turks. It says, I have found in the genealogical books of my ancestors that Togarmah had 10 sons. These are their names. The eldest was Ujar, the second Taurus, the third Avar, the fourth Uas, and the fifth Bizal. All right, and it goes so on. It says, I have record that although our fathers were few in number, the Holy One, blessed be he, gave the strength and power and might so that they were able to carry on war after war with many nations who were more powerful and numerous than they. And pretty much this letter just goes into, you know, how they became, who they are, trying to trace their lineage and so forth. And it goes on to say here in this next paragraph, after this, several generations passed until a certain king arose whose name was Bulan, who was a wise, God-fearing man, trusting in his creator with all his heart. He expelled the wizards and the idolaters from the land and took refuge in the shadow of his wings. And after this, his fame was spread broadcast. The king of the Byzantines and the Arabs who had heard of him sent their envoys and ambassadors with great riches and many great presents to the king, as well as some of their wise men, with the object of converting him to their own religion. And you see the misconception here, because we just read in a different article that the Arabs went to war with them. Why the hell would you be sending gifts and stuff when the secular history said that the Khazars, they had constant wars with the Arabs because the Arabs was trying to convert them to Islam? It don't make sense, and it's not adding up. Now, what we have over here, just to give some information, all right, this is from realhistorywww.com, dealing with the Turks. It says the next and final wave of the white Asians, all right, which are Edomites, the Turks, continued their migrations into Europe, North Africa, Western Asia, well into the modern era. And just like the previous whites, they were bent on conquest. And just like the Germanics, having no history, they decided to create a place in history from themselves. Go on once again back to Psalms 49 and 11. All right. They should call their lands after their own names, stealing the identities of other nations. Thus, they became the descendants of the Berbers, the Egyptians. That's why you have people today saying that the true Egyptians were so-called white. No, they were not. It says Mesopotamians, Persians, Phoenicians, Arabs, and oh yes, the Hebrews, the Khazar Turks. And so this is the information that they try so hard, and they spend billions of dollars trying to cover up and hide, because the fact of the matter remains that Esau is being made bare. Okay, now over here from this same website, it says the Muslim conquest of which the Turks and Greeks were the major component will lead to the creation of the last great Middle Eastern empire, that of the Ottoman Turks. The power and influence of the Turkic Ottoman Empire was pervasive in all areas until its breakup just after World War I. As with all great empires, the Ottoman Empire had its own religion, the Muslim religion of the Prophet Muhammad, Islam, which during the duration of the Ottoman Empire was termed the Turkish religion rather than the Arab religion. And Islam was spread as the Ottoman Empire expanded. But today, the worldwide acceptance and practice of Islam is due to the power and influence of the great Ottoman Empire. This was in its conformity with other empires established by migrants from the Eurasian plains. Earlier, the Romans had accepted and adapted one branch of the Hebrew religion, Christianity, and made it their own, thus making it a de facto European religion. Christianity was spread as the Roman Empire expanded. And today, the worldwide acceptance and practice of Christianity is due to the Romans and other Europeans they influenced, not to the Hebrews, who consider Christianity as Hebrew-only religion. Now, here's the point. Another Turkic group, the Khazars, who in the late 6th century AD had established a major commercial empire covering the Caucasus region of Russia, accepted and adapted the main Hebrew religion, thus also making it a de facto European religion. And it is oftentimes called Judaism or Jewish religion. The origin of the term Ish is, however, unknown. Hebrews did not call themselves Jews. No, the term that they would have called themselves was Judean. But we'll cover that in another topic. So coming over here, this is the PDF from Who is Esau Edom. Now, this is on page 11, and I'm just going to go through this history because this is some pretty factual information about the truth. It says Kostler then devotes the remainder of his 255-page book to prove this premise. For instance, a record of a letter by a Khazar king shows that he traced his people to Noah's son Japhet, not Shem, and to Japheth's grandson Togomar, the ancestor of all Turkish tribes. And that's why that guy in that video says that they're not Shemites, because this is the narrative that they like to fucking push, saying that these people come from Japheth when they don't really come from Japheth. It says the Khazar government was destroyed by the Slavs of Russia in 1016 AD, around 1200 AD. The land was invaded by the hordes, all right, of Genghis Khan. These two events caused large numbers of Khazars to migrate to Poland and Western Russia, forming the cradle of Western Jewry. There is an abundance of ancient places named in Ukraine and Poland which derive from Khazar or Zid. It says as the Khazars left their homeland of Khazaria and migrated north and west, they lost their name and became known as the Jews. Their Yiddish language and alphabet is not that of the Israelites, Phoenician Greek style, speaking of the language that is, but an amalgamation of Aramaic, medieval German, Slavic, and Russian dialects. The best historical evidence therefore shows that the Jews are not descended directly from the Israelites of the Bible, but derive much of their ancestry from the Khazars and other people of Turkish Asiatic blood. Now, here's the main point. The Khazars are also Edomite stock, showing you that they are of a Shemitic race, but they're not the Israelites. And both stocks make up the present-day Jews, as the historian H.G. Wells states. The Idumeans, Edomites, were made Jews, and a Turkish people, Khazars, were mainly Jews in the South Russia. The main part of Jewry never was in Judea and had never come out of Judea. According to the Ish Encyclopedia, the original stock of the Khazars came from the land of Edom. And you can cite this from Kostler, all right, page 72, all right, the bid, page 145, H.G. Wells, The Outline of History, 3rd edition, Macmillan, 1921, page 490 and 4. Those are your key references to show you that we're not making this up. So everything coming back over here, all right, let's see, you know, everything that he pointed out in this video, all right, like I said, there were some things, good points that he brought out in terms of them lying and manipulating the masses of the people. But secondly, they are Shemitic. They're just not the real Israelites, you know. So I thought that, you know, everything that was brought out pertaining to this, you know, this was a good lesson to go into, but we had to cover some factual information. So I'm going to close out there, giving all praise, glory, and honor be to Yahweh, Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rakak Kodash. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well. Peace, salutations unto the hopeful elect. Lord's will, you was edified. Shalom.